What's up everybody, Mr. Play Dr. Game here, back with another video for y'all today. In today's video, I'm here to tell you that Xdefiant is officially shutting down. Ubisoft and Xdefiant have made a tweet around about 5:41 December 3rd, 2024, and they have officially announced June 3rd, 2025, they are officially shutting down the server for Xdefiant. Here's the tweet they made about the Xdefiant closure. Let's get right into it. Hear what they had to say. Hey, hello Xdefiant fans. I'm unfortunately here today to announce that Xdefiant will be shutting down. Starting today, December 3rd, 2024, new downloads and player registration will no longer be available. We still release our Season 3 content in the near future. Expected date to be determined, and the server will remain active until June 3rd, 2025. So there, you cannot make a new account. You can't download it. They said no new downloads, which is weird because they still releasing They're still releasing Season 3 content. I don't know why. If your game's shutting down, like why you still releasing Season 3 content? But I believe that for the players. They want to give the player the last amount of content they worked on, so that work wouldn't have gone to waste. And they just want the people that still playing the game to experience the content, I guess. So yeah, I believe that's why they're releasing like the Season 3 stuff. Okay, for those who have purchased the Ultimate Founders Pack will receive full refund. Player who made any purchase within the last 30 days will also be fully refunded. So if you made any purchases, you bought the Ultimate Edition of the Ultimate Founder Pack of Xdefiant, and you purchased an item in the last 30 days, you will be fully refunded. Which I think that kind of good. I ain't gonna lie. I'm happy they're doing that. Like, you shutting down the game. I think that cool that they're refunding people that spent their money on a game they thought they're gonna be playing for a long time. So I guess that is a W in my book. But anyway, the refund should happen automatically within the 8 weeks of today, and can be found more detail on our official website, Xdefiant.com. A few years ago, Ubisoft in the San Francisco dev team embarked on a bold adventure to develop a new arcade shooter called Xdefiant. It was from the start an incredible challenge. Not only we were trying to shake up the genre by removing skill-based matchmaking, or SBM, while bringing back a more old school arcade shooter experience. I think skill-based matchmaking would have saved Xdefiant. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I feel like if this game came out later and had skill-based matchmaking, I feel like this game could have been alright. I feel like nowadays, skill-based matchmaking is just here to stay in multiplayer shooters. I think skill-based matchmaking ain't going nowhere, because obviously if Xdefiant that promised no skill-based matchmaking couldn't survive, what chance do you think these companies gonna remove skill-based matchmaking? They ain't gonna remove skill-based matchmaking, because they gonna like, look at Xdefiant. That game had no skill-based matchmaking. Look at where it is. I feel like we're in an age now where we can expect skill-based matchmaking in first-person shooters. But anyway, back to this arcade shooter experience. But we were also dive into a high-risk, high-reward realm of free-to-play. And for that, I wanted to apply not only the dev team, but also Ubisoft leadership for taking the chance. Yeah, Ubisoft leadership took a chance on y'all, and they didn't give y'all a proper engine. Keep in mind, guys, the engine that Xdefiant was running on was on a Frostbite engine that was not made for FPS games. So Ubisoft thought this game was gonna be so good that they didn't even have the courtesy of offering them an engine they could actually use for first-person shooters. That's the leadership that we working with here for taking a chance on y'all. They didn't believe in y'all in the first place. They gave y'all a proper engine to actually make the game better. Free-to-play, and particularly, is a long journey. Many free-to-play games take a long time to find their footing and become profitable. It's a long journey that Ubisoft and the team working on the game were prepared to make. until very recently, but unfortunately the journey became too much too stable continue to me. The journey became too much to stably continue. I am of course heartbroken to have to be writing this post. Yes, this game has been a personal passion for me for years, and yes, I knew that not all challenges led to victory. But I also want to recognize all the developers who were being affected by this closure. Each and every one of them is a real person with a real life, separate from our own, and they have all put so much of their own passion into making this game, and I hope that they can be proud of what they did, what they achieved. I know that I will always be proud and grateful to have worked with such a great team, a team that really punched above its weight class. Yeah, y'all try to compete with Call of Duty. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of give them mad respect. They did. At least they try to compete with Call of Duty. Like you really don't got a lot of COD. You really don't got a lot of COD competition. Call of Duty basically got a monopoly on the arcade shooter. Anyway, and what they achieved is truly remarkable. The early response from players when Xdefiant launched was amazing. We broke initial record for the fastest game to surpass 5 million users. In the end, we had over 15 million players play our game. That is something to be extremely proud of, especially considering how tough this genre is. So thank you all of the developer who put their passion into making this game. Xdefiant. One more. If there one thing I hope we can all take away from this is that one thing we all can take away from this experience, it is important of open and honest communication between developers and players. The first player first mentality along with respectful, non-toxic conversation between developers and players have been one of the most standout differences that made Xdefiant so special. From my very first post about Xdefiant, this was the vision I can't read today. Sorry for my mispronunciation. From the very first post about Xdefiant, this was the vision I wanted to champion, and I hope it leaves a positive mark on how the game industry treats its player and community. To our player, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to express my deepest gratitude for the incredible community that had grown around Xdefiant. Your passion, creativity, dedication has inspired us every step of the way. With the utmost of love, respect, Mark Rubin. So that's it. That's it for the post. That's what Mark Rubin wrote about Xdefiant. So what happened to Xdefiant? Let me break it down. I think that's a lot of stuff that happened with Xdefiant. For one thing, I think Xdefiant should have been delayed more. I think Xdefiant should have another delay. Here's the problem with Xdefiant. For one thing, the game had awful hit detection. The game hit detection was awful. That killed a lot of people's excitement right then and there. Where people were like, bro, this game is not ready. Like in Xdefiant, you would be shooting at players and they would just not die. The hit detection in Xdefiant was awful. Awful, man. The hit detection was not good at all. And another thing about Xdefiant is the lack of content. This is why I say Xdefiant should have had more time to develop. I feel like Xdefiant did not have a lot of things to do. After you beat your battle pass, there was really nothing to progress in Xdefiant. There was nothing to play for. In Black Ops 6, you can say, oh, Black Ops 6 got skill-based mapping, but one thing I can give Black Ops 6 is that the prestige system. I think the prestige system is great. You got 10 prestige levels, and every time you hit level 55, you can restart it from the beginning. Xdefiant didn't have prestige. That's another thing too. So not only did you didn't have reward to play for in Xdefiant, you also didn't have you didn't have a prestige, so you really couldn't prestige to get even more cooler rewards. I feel like that would help the game a lot. That Xdefiant had a lack of progression. That one thing that Xdefiant really struggled with. After a while, when you did everything, look, camo. I feel like the camo grind, everything. They doubled the camo XP, which I thought that was a bad idea. Like they slowed weapon XP to a crawl. They slowed weapon XP to a crawl. So I think the progression in Xdefiant was just bad. I think the progression in the game was just not good. It was slow, it was tedious, and you didn't even feel rewarded when you got the camo. And outside of the camo, there was really nothing to play for. After you unlocked all the guns and stuff, it really was nothing else to do in the game. Like the game felt so. I don't want to say. How can I say it? It felt like you were playing just to be playing. I know that sounds crazy, but it felt like you wasn't really playing for nothing. You were just playing the game just to be playing the game. Like there was nothing else you can unlock after you unlocked everything. The game didn't have a good progression system, and people got bored of it. People got bored of Xdefiant, and the rank mode wasn't even better. The rank mode was worse. The Xdefiant did not have rank at launch, and when we did got rank, the rank mode wasn't even that good. And also, Xdefiant had a lot of mechanics in the game. One thing I always criticize Xdefiant for was having the spider bot. There was a lot of cheese abilities in Xdefiant. Let's be real with ourselves. Xdefiant had a lot of abilities that felt unfair to fight against. For one thing, like the spider bot. The spider bot was unfair. That dude that can turn invisible was unfair. Xdefiant had a lot of unfair stuff in it. So that's another thing about Xdefiant. I also think contributed to the game failing. And another thing about Xdefiant, I really didn't think the game was mid. That's another thing. The game was mid. You can say, oh, Call of Duty mid as well, but I feel like Call of Duty feels more good to play than Xdefiant. Like I've been playing Black Ops 6 lately, and Black Ops 6 plays way more better than Xdefiant. Well, really, another thing that killed Xdefiant me when the player count got real low, you couldn't even find a game. Like literally, I kept on getting thrown in half a game at the tail end of this game lifespan. I was like, bro, why I keep on getting thrown into half of games? That don't make no sense. So that was really that struck the camera back with me. Is that I just kept on getting thrown in half a game when I try to play. It was like, bro, I don't want to play a half a game. I want to play a full game. So Xdefiant just had lots, and also about Xdefiant, I thought what also was not good was the engine. Xdefiant was developed on the Frostbite engine. Keep in mind, the Frostbite engine is an MMO engine. The Frostbite engine was not a good engine to build Xdefiant on. You know what analogy I think suit this situation better? Xdefiant was a house built on sand because the Frostbite engine did not support FPSs. The Frostbite engine was purely a MMO engine. The last and final thing I felt with Xdefiant, I felt like the game was just completely uninspired. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I think Xdefiant, I felt it when I first played the game. When I played the beta of Xdefiant before it came out, right? I truly felt like the game was just mid. I thought Xdefiant was a mid game. I didn't think this game was gonna last long at all, because I just felt like the game, it felt like, I don't know how to describe Xdefiant. It felt like it was a AA game. It didn't feel like a AAA game. It felt like a AA game. Like a game where it didn't have a huge budget. Like I feel like the budget wasn't really that huge, and without the budget being very huge, that I feel like the game had some unpolishedness to it. That's why I felt with Xdefiant. I feel like the game was very unpolished. So combined with the lack of progression, there was really nothing else to do in the game. The lack of polish, and just that the game was just not was just not ready to be released. The game should have been delayed. They should have delayed it by a couple more, not even I said by 6 months. They should have delayed the game for another year or so, because Xdefiant did not perform like it should have. And another thing about Xdefiant, and that it is not Xdefiant's fault, this is a Ubisoft problem too. Ubisoft have been going downhill ever since this game had released. With all the we want to call it, they look at Ubisoft stock, man. Their stock is going down. So, and they would even potentially talk about being bought out. Like even outside of even outside of the dev team that were working on Xdefiant Control, there was a lot of things were going on with Ubisoft. Ubisoft is not in a good financial position right now. So they're gonna get rid of games they feel like they ain't bringing in money, and Xdefiant was just not bringing in money. The reason the game had a high player count when it first released is because it was a brand new game. That's why. The game was new, it was brand new. Everybody saying, "Oh, this game gonna be the COD killer," which I thought that hurt the game too. That I felt like the people that play Xdefiant had a lot of high expectations. I feel like people comparing this game to Call of Duty really hurt the game as well. People calling this game, "Oh, this is the COD killer, they're gonna kill Call of Duty." It was just like, bro, this game was not ever gonna kill Call of Duty. Nothing can kill Call of Duty. Call of Duty is way too big. And I felt like there was a lot of people were putting a lot of faith in this game. That the game was gonna be a Call of Duty killer. I never thought Xdefiant was gonna be a Call of Duty killer, but I thought it was gonna be at least alternative Call of Duty. So when you got through the skill based matchmaking and stuff, you could have head over to Xdefiant and just chill out. But it just never caught on with people, and the player count barely got it struggled to get to 20,000 players. I can imagine what the game player count is. The game is not on Steam, so you can't even look at and see what player count this game have. But you can tell, you can go to like the Xbox and PS5 stores, and this game is nowhere to be seen on the top 10, the top 20, or the top 30s, I believe. This game did not do good at all, financially, publicity wise, and this game just basically faded into obscurity, and people just forgot about it. There was no reason to play Xdefiant. There was no reason at all to play this game. And I felt like if this game had been development, I don't even know if that was gonna be the case. Probably came out the same way like it did, but due to the lack of content, people just not being interested in it no more, and the fact that this game was built on an engine that didn't even support first-person shooter, then the game problems just went unaddressed. That was the other big reason. This game problem has gone unaddressed, and it just got into a storm where the game is in a position it is now where it's shutting down. So even though I'm sad to see Xdefiant shut down, and it would have been cool to see an alternative to Call of Duty when you got done with playing Call of Duty and play a game where you want to play with no skill-based matchmaking and just chill. I just feel like that would have been the perfect game, and I wish people didn't try to compare it to COD as much. And another thing about Xdefiant that I like to bring up is that the amount of people, this Xdefiant had a lot of toxic positivity around it. I feel like YouTubers and a lot of people that like Xdefiant defended this game way too hard. I feel like people that actually love Xdefiant didn't want to be critical of the game. Like, nobody wanted to take an honest look at Xdefiant and say, hey, this game got some major problems that needed to be ironed out, and those problems never got addressed because this game had a lot of toxic positivity around it. Every time you try to be critical to Xdefiant, there was a lot of people saying you was a hater of the game, you wanted to see the game fail, and you were bringing some basic issues, man. These were basic issues, dude, that people were bringing up, and they were being called Call of Duty hater, Call of Duty lover, Xdefiant hater, Call of Duty fanboy. It was just like, and I wasn't even playing Call of Duty at the time. I was even looking like, bro, this game got some issues, dude. This game has some major issues. The community were positive. Like the game had a lot of toxic positivity, where you couldn't even be critical about the game, or you were gonna be labeled as an Xdefiant hater. Like nobody wanted to believe this game had issues, and this game had a lot of issues, and those issues never got addressed. And look where the game at now. It's shutting down. So anyway, it's been Mr. Played out there with another video. See y'all next time. Peace.